This Thursday evening, we have the Los Angeles Lakers traveling on the road to face off against the Minnesota Timberwolves. In this spot, both teams are coming off a road loss on a back-to-back, and I'm going to tell you what team I think bounces back in this spot. I'm Matt Kowal from Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Check me out on Twitter at MoneylineMatt8 so you know when all of my official plays drop at Sports Memo. In addition to that, I get free plays, same game parlays, love to get the community involved, and we're looking for the community right here. If you can hit a like on this video, subscribe to Wager Talk, and drop a comment of what you're taking in this game, whether it be a spread pick, a total, a player prop, whatever it may be. We're looking for stuff we can take advantage of down in those comments. Would greatly appreciate that. And speaking of things that you can take advantage of, right now use code TAKE20 at Sports Memo and Wager Talk and get 20% off all access passes, okay? That's from any of your favorite handicappers. Again, that is 20% off. Take 20. Might as well take advantage of that. So with that being said, let's get right into today's matchup. This is the Minnesota Timberwolves at home with a -6.5 spread. The total in this one is 225 points. And as for the handle, currently 33% of the money is going to the Los Angeles Lakers with 67% going to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And one thing I need to comment on, guys, is it is Thursday, December 21st at 11:30 a.m. On back-to-backs, a lot can transpire throughout the day. This is the late game. The Los Angeles Lakers have LeBron James. You know, he's getting to be pretty old. He could miss this spot. So definitely do your own research as the day progresses. You know, but with that being said, LeBron in, LeBron out, AD in, AD out. I really don't care. I love the look of the Minnesota Timberwolves here. A lot of the analytics point to it, so let's go over it real quick. You know, for one, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 11-1 at home this season. They are 4-1 against the spread after a loss. They are 6-2 against the spread as the home favorite, and they are 8-5 against the spread with equal rest. Okay, so again, a lot pointing to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a new look Minnesota Timberwolves team. They are the #1 defensive team throughout the entire NBA, and they definitely stand tall on their home floor. As for the Los Angeles Lakers, they do not stand tall as the road team. Okay, they are 5-10 overall on the road this season. They're 6-6 against the spread after a loss. They are 3-5 against the spread as a road underdog, and 8-7 against the spread with equal rest. So the only thing that is not below 500 is 8-7 against the spread with equal rest. So again, this Lakers team, they're older. They don't travel as well. They don't do as well on back-to-backs, stuff like that. And again, in terms of schematics, I really do love the look of this Minnesota Timberwolves lineup in comparison to the Los Angeles Lakers lineup. You know, in their last 7 meetings, the Minnesota Timberwolves have won 5 of those meetings outright, 3 of those meetings being in Minnesota, and 2 of those, they covered the spread on top of that. And one thing I also want to add to is this Minnesota Timberwolves team is no longer a bubble playoff team beating this Lakers team. Now this Minnesota Timberwolves team is the #1 team in basketball. They're playing great. Anthony Edwards has taken another step as potentially one of the best shooting guards, top 3 shooting guards throughout the NBA. You got Karl Anthony Towns, who's stretching the floor. You got Rudy Gobert, who's rebounding, blocking shots, locking down that middle. They are a very tough team. You know, McDaniels is a nice piece, both defensively and scoring. So, you know, they have a very good makeup of their roster, and I see a huge advantage for this Minnesota Timberwolves team at the power forward position, because the 4 for the Los Angeles Lakers right now is LeBron James, where LeBron's not guarding Cat. You know, LeBron is not a good defender regardless, and they don't want LeBron getting in foul trouble. And what I mean by a good defender, he's not going to man you up. He's going to chase you down and try and get you from behind. There is a difference between a chase down artist and a good defender, okay? So what I'm thinking is you could move LeBron to the 3, Taurean Prince to the 4, and have him run Cat. You can run a zone, or you can bring Jared Vanderbilt off from that bench #5 spot, slide him into that 4. LeBron goes to the 3. Prince out to the bench. Okay, that's what I'm thinking is most optimal. Again, we have to see if LeBron is going to suit up. We're going to have to see if LeBron is going to get limited minutes, things along those lines. But I do think that's what's going to occur. And regardless of any of those scenarios or the zone, it's a huge advantage for the Minnesota Timberwolves, because then you're leaving Karl Anthony Towns to stretch the floor. You're leaving someone like Anthony Edwards to get to the middle for pull-ups, slashing to the basket. Karl Anthony Towns also has that hook shot. He has a decent mid-range game. And that's the killer of the zone defense. So for me, everything that I'm looking to is really Minnesota at this point in time. I don't have a ton of faith in an older Lakers team on a back-to-back. You know, I did mention that the Minnesota Timberwolves were the #1 defense throughout the NBA. The Lakers are 9th. So for me, this 225 total does seem a little high in my personal opinion. I don't know if this one's going to be an official play. I definitely lean more towards the spread, and there's a player prop that has not been released yet. But once it is, as long as this player shoots up, I do like it, and I'll mention that in a minute. But again, Both these teams top 10 in defense. Both of these teams bottom half of the NBA in terms of pace of play. On top of that, also coming off a back-to-back, so it does make me like that under with the 225. So again, right now we got the -6.5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We have the under 225, and the last play of the day that I'm actually going to be looking at here is going to be D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is coming off 2 of his worst games of the season. 2 games ago, he shot 3 for 10 from the field, had 9 points. Last night, he shot 1 for 6 from the field, 2 points. This is his old team in the Minnesota Timberwolves. D'Lo is kind of one of those guys who has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He likes to go out and play well against his old teams. I think this is one of those spots, especially if LeBron doesn't suit up. But regardless, I think if LeBron does suit up, his line will be around 12.5, which is pretty low. You know, someone like D'Lo could definitely go get that. If LeBron doesn't play, it's probably going to be at 14.5. And I think both spots are pretty solid going against Mike Conley and going against your old team. So for me, love those picks today, guys. We swept the last one with the Golden State Warriors. We went 2-0. Let's do it again, all right? Again, I am Matt Kowalski, Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Make sure to check me out at MoneylineMatt8 on Twitter. The plays today, one more time, the Minnesota Timberwolves -6.5. D'Lo over 12.5 points. That is an estimation. And then I'm leaning under 225 in this spot as well. Again, guys, Matt Kowalski, Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Let's have a day, y'all. Peace.